Okay, let's dive in. We're cracking open the world of home carbonation machines today.
Ah, yes, those clever gadgets that let you make your own fizzy drinks right there in the kitchen.
Exactly. And you think about, well, all the plastic bottles from store-bought sparkling water
Right,
and the cost adding up.
for sure. Or maybe just wanting something bubbly without all the sugar you find in regular sodas.
That's a big one too. And these machines, well, that's kind of where they fit in.
Right. And we've gathered quite a bit of material for this, articles, guides, some reviews too.
Yeah, covering the basics, like what they actually are, why people are using them.
And, do they actually live up to the hype? Are they worth it?
That's the core mission today, isn't it? To pull out the really key insights from all this stuff we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
We'll unpack the what, the why, the sort of value proposition, and check out some specific machines people might be looking at.
So you, the listener, get the highlights without wading through pages and pages.
Consider us your bubble guides for today.
Ah, I like that. Okay, so first things first. What exactly is a home carbonation machine? What do the sources say they do?
Good starting point. What's the basic function?
Well, at its core, a carbonator, and people call them different things, sparkling water maker, seltzer maker, fizzy water machine,
Right, lots of names.
was basically a device that uses pressure. It infuses liquid, usually water, with carbon dioxide gas, CO2.
And that infusion, that's what gives you the bubbles.
Exactly, the effervescence,
Yeah.
that fizz. And the sources point out that while water is definitely the main thing people carbonate,
Mm-hmm.
some machines can actually handle other liquids too, things like juice or mocktails, maybe even wine or cocktails at on.
Oh, okay. So getting a bit more creative than just fizzy water.
Potentially, yeah, depending on the machine.
And thinking back to those store-bought bottles, the sources we read mentioned another big plus right away.
Oh yeah, the environmental point comes up a lot. These are definitely positioned as an alternative to buying endless plastic bottles of sparkling water.
So less plastic waste.
Drastically less, potentially, which is a big selling point in the material.
Feels like a double win then convenience and maybe better for the planet? Okay, so that's the what. What about the why on a more personal level?
Yeah.
Health stuff.
Yeah, is it actually, good for you or just neutral?
Right. Does carbonated water have benefits?
The sources definitely tackle this.
Yeah.
A major appeal mentioned is for people who love fizz but want to cut back on sugary sodas. Plain sparkling water is a great swap.
Because it's hydrating, obviously, and no calories if it's just water and CO2.
Exactly. Calorie-free hydration with bubbles.
I feel like I've also heard people say it can sometimes help with, like, digestion. Is that mentioned?
It does come up. The sources note that for some people, sparkling water might help with minor digestive things like feeling bloated or having a bit of indigestion.
Ah, okay. So a potential benefit, but maybe not for everyone.
Right, it's presented as a might help some people kind of thing, not a guaranteed cure-all.
Any downsides mentioned on the health front?
Just a small note that if you drink a lot of it, some people might experience mild discomfort, like gas or maybe more bloating.
Okay, makes sense. Too much of anything, maybe.
Pretty much. But the overall takeaway in the sources is that it's a healthy choice, as long as you're not adding heaps of sugar or artificial flavorings afterwards.
Which, if you're making it yourself, you control completely.
Exactly.
Okay, that leads perfectly into the money question. Is it actually cheaper to make your own sparkling water?
The cost analysis.
Yeah.
Yes, the sources definitely address this, and the general consensus seems to be
Yes.
usually
Those are-
cheaper, particularly in the long run.
Long run being the key phrase there.
Definitely. You've got the initial purchase price of the machine itself. That's your upfront cost.
Right, the investment.
But then the ongoing cost is mainly the CO2 cylinder refills or exchanges. And the sources describe those as being, pretty affordable.
More affordable than buying cases of bottled water week after week.
That's the argument presented. If you're someone who drinks sparkling water regularly, those savings are expected to add up over time.
And you get that environmental benefit thrown in again. Less plastic.
Yep, it keeps coming back to that dual benefit cost and environment.
Seems compelling if you're a regular fizz drinker. Okay, let's talk mechanics. How does the fizz actually happen? The CO2 carbonator, the tank. What are the details there?
Right, the CO2 tank or cylinder is basically the engine of the whole process. It's a container filled with compressed carbon dioxide gas.
And it just screws into the machine.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
It connects to the machine, which then uses that gas to carbonate your water.
Hmm.
They're designed to be refilled, or more often, exchanged when empty.
And they come in different sizes.
The most common sizes mentioned are 60-liter and sometimes 130-liter.
60 liters seems to be the standard one that comes with most machines, right?
That's typical, yeah.
So how much fizzy water does a 60-liter tank actually make, like in real terms?
The estimate given in the sources is pretty straightforward. A 60-liter cylinder makes about 60 liters of sparkling water.
Okay, 60 liters, that's a lot of water. How many glasses is that, roughly?
They break it down further. It's about 240 standard 8-ounce glasses.
Wow, okay. 240 glasses from one little tank. That's pretty efficient.
It sounds like a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're drinking, say, 2 or 3 glasses each a day.
Which is probably fairly typical for someone who buys one of these.
Right. Then that single 60-liter cylinder, the estimate is it should last you somewhere around 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months between refills. Okay, that gives a really practical sense of the upkeep involved.
Mm-hmm.
The sources also quickly mention something called a carbonator pump. Is that different?
Yeah, that's touched on briefly. It's described more as something you'd find in, like, commercial soda fountains.
Ah, like at a restaurant.
Exactly. Different technology combines water and CO2 in a different way than these home countertop machines usually do. Just part of the bigger picture of carbonation tech. Gotcha. So, different scale, different machine. Okay, this is great. We understand the what, the why, the cost, the CO2. Let's look at some actual machines. The sources compared a few popular ones.
They did. They highlighted 3 main ones that seem to be pretty common choices. The SodaStream Terra, the Arc Carbonator III, and the DrinkMate OmniFizz.
Okay, SodaStream. That's probably the name most people recognize. The Terra model specifically.
Right, the Terra. It's mentioned as an Amazon bestseller, often gets high ratings, like 5 stars in one source. Price point starts around $99.
And what makes it stand out, according to the material?
Ease of use seems to be a big factor. It has the snap lock feature for the bottle, apparently makes it super simple to attach.
No screwing the bottle in then.
Sounds like it. It comes with that starter 60L CO2 cylinder, has a kind of sleek, modern look, and it's designed to work well with SodaStream's own flavor drops, and they mention the bubbly ones specifically.
Okay, so user-friendly, standard option, integrates with their flavors. Got it. What about the Arc Carbonator III? Sounds fancier. It definitely seems positioned as the more premium, design-focused option. Price is higher, starting around $229. Had a 4-star mention.
And what's the selling point there? The look.
Primarily, yes. It's made of stainless steel, so it's about durability, but also that high-end kitchen aesthetic. It uses a lever mechanism to carbonate, which is maybe a bit different.
A lever instead of a button.
It seems so. And it comes with a BPA-free peat neat bottle, which is noted as eco-friendly and easy to clean. So think premium materials and design.
Right, pays for the style. And the third one, DrinkMate OmniFizz.
Yep, the DrinkMate OmniFizz. Price point is around $110, so closer to the SodaStream Terra. Had a 3-star mention. Its big claim to fame is pretty unique.
Oh, what's that?
It can supposedly carbonate any beverage, not just water.
Any beverage, like
Right.
juice, tea, wine.
That's what the sources state,
Yeah.
is its key feature. Also interesting, it doesn't need electricity or batteries, and it apparently comes with extra bottles and this thing called a fizz infuser.
A fizz infuser. Wonder what that does. Maybe helps control the fizz for different liquids?
Could be. It sounds like an accessory specifically for handling non-water drinks.
That carbonate anything feature really does sound different. Did the sources compare the SodaStream and DrinkMate directly, since their prices are somewhat similar?
They did offer a kind of head-to-head look.
Yeah.
Price, like we said, $99-ish for Terra, $110-ish for OmniFizz.
Okay.
A key difference mentioned is the CO2 compatibility. SodaStream generally uses its own branded cylinders or ones specifically made to be compatible.
Like the proprietary system.
Whereas the DrinkMate is described as more versatile. It can use SodaStream cylinders, but also other standard screw and CO2 tanks that are out there.
Oh, that's a potentially big difference for refills. More choice.
Could be. And feature-wise, the summary was, SodaStream Terra focuses on easy water carbonation, sleek design, works well with their bubbly drops. DrinkMate OmniFizz focuses on that unique ability to carbonate any drink, plus the CO2 versatility and the fizz infuser accessory.
Okay, that paints a clear picture. SodaStream for simple, flavored fizzy water. Arc for the premium look and feel. DrinkMate for experimenting with different carbonated drinks.
That seems to be the gist of the comparisons, yeah.
One last thing before we wrap up terminology. People sometimes get confused between sparkling water and sparkling seltzer water. Did the sources clarify that?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did address that nuance. Basically, sparkling water often refers to water that gets its carbonation naturally, like from a mineral spring.
So it might have minerals in it.
Exactly.
Right.
Because of where it comes from, it can contain dissolved minerals, calcium, magnesium, stuff like that. This can give it a slightly different taste, maybe more subtle or minerally.
Okay. Natural source, potential minerals, and helter.
Sparkling seltzer water is defined as water that's had carbonation added artificially. So CO2 gas is purposefully injected into plain water.
Like what these machines do.
Precisely. And typically, seltzer doesn't have those added minerals, unless flavors or minerals are added separately later. So the core difference is natural versus artificial carbonation and the potential presence of natural minerals. Both are fizzy, though.
Ah, okay. Natural versus artificial fizz. Mineral content. That makes sense. And just to connect back to the bottled stuff people might be trying to replace, the sources mention a couple of familiar brands.
Right, just as examples. They listed Pellegrino as a classic example of that naturally carbonated sparkling mineral water known for that mineral content and taste.
Okay.
And then they mentioned Waterloo as an example of a popular flavored sparkling seltzer water, artificially carbonated, known for bolder flavors, often crisp. Represents that category.
Got it. Useful context. Wow, we've actually covered a ton of ground here.
We really have. From what these machines are, how they work with CO2,
The health angles, the cost savings, those specific model comparisons.
and even the difference between sparkling and seltzer. You've gotten a pretty solid deep dive based on all that material we went through.
Yeah, hopefully you feel like you've got a good handle on the whole home carbonation scene now. The key benefits, the costs, what to look for in a machine.
You're definitely equipped with the main takeaways from the sources.
And, thinking about that DrinkMate machine, the one that can supposedly carbonate anything, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the possibilities there? Carbonating flat beer, old wine, leftover coffee.
Huh. I mean, the sources suggest it opens up creative avenues for cocktails, juices.
Sure, but someone out there is trying something weird. Maybe successfully, maybe not so successfully.
Definitely provides some food for thought or drink for thought as you consider making your own fizz at home. What boundaries would you push?
Exactly. Something to ponder. The world of homemade bubbles awaits.